iostudy.net.
Hello, this is Danielle, and in this video of English grammar, we're going to learn about the rules for using still, yet, already, anymore, any longer, and no longer. So as you can see here, we have the mind map with different topics. We have 4 topics: still, already, yet, and anymore, any longer, and no longer. So we can start with still, learning when to use still correctly. We use still to say a situation or action is continuing, and still usually goes in the middle of a sentence with a verb. So to say a situation or action is continuing. For example, it is 10 o'clock and Tom is still in bed. And when I went to bed, Lee was still working. So in both of these sentences, we're using still to say a situation or action is continuing. Still usually goes in the middle of a sentence with a verb. For example, do you still want to go away? And my mother still buys harmful food in the supermarket. So both of these are using still that usually goes in the middle of a sentence with a verb. So these are all examples of still. Let's go to already. We use already to say something happened sooner than expected. And already usually goes in the middle of a sentence. So something happened sooner than expected. Example, she has already left. And I've only just had lunch and I am already hungry. So both of these are examples of using already to say something happened sooner than expected. Next, already usually goes in the middle of a sentence. So for example, I have already done my homework. And we already went out before you came. So both of these are using already in the middle of a sentence. Okay, now let's go on to yet. Yet mainly goes at the end of a negative sentence and questions. We use yet to show the speaker is expecting something to happen. So mainly goes at the end of negative sentences and questions. For example, he is not here yet. And is he here yet? Both of these are negative sentences and questions. We use yet to show the speaker is expecting something to happen. For example, I'm hungry. Is dinner ready yet? And are you done yet? Again, we're showing that the speaker is expecting something to happen. Now, using any more, any longer, and no longer. We use not anymore or not any longer to go at the end of a sentence, and no longer goes in the middle of the sentence. So for example, here we have some examples. Anne doesn't work here anymore. And we used to be friends, but we aren't anymore. So both of these are using not anymore or not any longer. Next, no longer goes in the middle of a sentence. For example, Anne no longer works here. And this village is no longer peaceful. So those are both using no longer. Now we have here your completed mind map for still, yet, already, anymore, any longer, and no longer. Now you can click here to find the outline. Here is the outline for still, yet, already, anymore, any longer, and no longer. You can scroll through this to find more examples and further explanations on how to use this in English grammar. And when you're finished, you can click here to take the test. And in our next video, we're going to take the test together. So thanks for joining me in this video where we learned about still, yet, already, anymore, any longer, and no longer. See you in the next video. Goodbye.